Joe Horse Capture. Please give him a warm welcome. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah!
Good afternoon. I'll be honest with you, this is the last time I was in the back of a pickup was in high school, if you know what I'm saying. Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank the Piscataway people for allowing us to be on their land.
All right.
Yeah!
This is not the Washington football team land, this is Indian land. You know, this morning when I got up, kind of thinking about what I was going to say this morning, it started to rain. And I'm sure a lot of people are thinking, oh man, rain's a bummer. Within our tribe, there's a story of this old man that whenever he went up on a mountain and had a vision, it would always rain first. And the rain would come in and cleanse the earth and cleanse all the bad things and bring good energy. So to me, in my way, his name was Bull Lodge. To me, in my way, having that rain come in this morning cleanse us for all to come together in a good, positive way. I'd like to give respects to my friend Ian. It takes a lot of guts to come up here and talk against the team, against the team name. I honor him in that way. He was in the paper, he got a lot of press. He's a good man. Before you leave, be sure and come up and shake his hand. One of the things I thought was important after I read Ian's story and got a chance to talk to him, is he had a chance to open his eyes. He was educated about how the issue is so important and how it really harms Native people. Now we take it sort of a step back, sort of take a look how Native people have been treated. Over time, Native people have become unpeople. America has been brainwashed to think about Native people in a very specific way. For example, let's think of Disney's Pocahontas. Let's think of Disney's Peter Pan. Let's think of Indian in a cupboard. I mean, who has a little Indian in a cupboard? We're always the other. We've been unpeopled. And even, I know you can't believe this, but even the village people are harmed to Native American people. It's as though being a Native American person is an occupation. You know, you have the police officer, you have the fireman, I forgot the last guy. I don't know. The construction guy, and you have the Native American. It's like it's a job. Well, it's not. Native Americans are people. They're real people, and it needs to stop today. And I find it very hard to believe how people can look at Native Americans in this derogatory sense, in this unpeopling sense. If you think about it, Native Americans during wartime have the highest percentage of volunteering than any other racial group. During World War II, it was the code talkers that saved the war. They changed the war around. So the contributions to Native America, contributions by Native Americans toward the America cannot be questioned. And to have this team named after Native Americans in a derogatory way is unacceptable. They say, well, in this context, it's okay. I don't know any other time in the English language where you can redefine a word for a specific sporting event. It's just not acceptable. So the Washington team needs to respect and rename. Thank you.
Yeah!
Okay, our next speaker is Gregg Deal.
My name is Gregg Deal. I am from Pyramid Lake. I'm a Paiute, and I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a Native man. I've stood and I've talked about this issue for on many different occasions, and I've always been kind of nice when I've done it. We're standing here today because the time for polite annoyance is over. I am done talking nicely about this and trying to have a conversation to help people understand who are not willing to understand. The reason why this name exists is because we are not people. As Joe had said, we are unpeople. We are not human to the people that claim to represent us through stereotypes. The purpose of stereotypes is to dehumanize indigenous people. It's the purpose of any stereotype for any ethnicity is to dehumanize. And in dehumanizing indigenous people, it helps people not care about us. They don't care who we are. They don't care what we represent. They don't care about our children and our communities. And then they have the audacity to tell us that there are more important things. And I'm having trouble trying to figure out what is more important than my children, what is more important than my family, and what is more important than my community. We are being killed off quickly. Our women are being stolen and are being abused and being left for dead by the thousands because we are not human. These stereotypes exist for one thing and for one thing only, and that is to control us, to control the way that people view us, the way that they consider us. These stereotypes are here specifically to break us down, and after over 500 years, we are still here. It is so vastly important that we stand here. It is so vastly important that people understand that Native lives matter. Native lives matter. We are standing here, and you know what's really funny is with this entire thing, they're gonna make fun of this. They're gonna talk about these numbers. They're gonna say that there's not enough people here for it to matter. There were 5,000 people in Minnesota. They said there weren't enough people there to matter either. So I'm thinking that it doesn't matter how many of us there are. It doesn't matter to them. So we stand in solidarity regardless of what they say. They're going to say we're too poor, and then they're going to insist that we all fly to Washington, D.C. and march on the mall. They're going to say there's not enough of us, and then they're going to criticize the numbers that are here when we all stand as people, indigenous people and non-indigenous people, and say this is not right, this is not appropriate, and this has to stop now. This is not a mere offense. This is not a simple upset over a word or over a stereotype. This right here, all of us in Minnesota, in DC, in San Francisco, everywhere that there's been people standing, in Arizona, is a civil rights movement. We are fighting for equal rights. We are fighting for civil rights. It begins here at the stereotype. It begins here at the dehumanization of indigenous people. That is why we stand here. That is why we do this. And it doesn't matter if they think it's not a big deal or not, because it is a big deal. Because this affects the way that they'll view us for every issue that we ever fight for, that we ever stand for. They will constantly dehumanize and dismiss us as being nothing, because they look at us and they see stereotypes. They see redskins. They see these things without any reference to the history, the horrific history of these stereotypes, of these names. And they will continue to dismiss us in anything that we do. So it really doesn't matter if there is more important things or not. This thing embodies all things. They must change the name in order to understand that we are human beings. We should not have to stand on Indian land and worry about somebody being aggressive towards us. This is our home. This is our land. Change the name.
Yeah!